see you all this morning. Really nice of you to come along on this Friday. Our first Friday, lockdown number 3, our first Friday, doing our little feel-good Friday. And like I say, what I'll try and do on a Friday is have an emphasis on slowing things down a little bit at the end of a busy week, focus on doing some stretching and some nice breath work. We'll still move, but this one is focusing on grounding. And I think maybe this last week, this kind of final lockdown, hopefully, that we're going into, it's difficult, isn't it? The weather's not quite so nice. We can't go out quite so much. So it might be provoking a little bit more stress and anxiety than the other two. So what we're going to do today is a nice focus on feeling grounded, coming out of whatever busyness is going on in our mind, and really dropping down into our body. So it's quite a low, slow flow, grounding practice today. So that being said, let me take my jumper off. Let's start by lying down on our backs. And as ever, if you need to pop something, I've got a little cushion here. If you need to pop something just underneath the back of your head that helps bring your neck in line with the rest of your spine, then feel free and go ahead to do that. Now we're going to keep our feet on the floor this morning. So if you need, as ever, to give your knees a little squeeze and have a little gentle rock from side to side, or a circling of the knees, or massaging around the tops of the buttocks and the low back before we begin, feel free. And then we'll just bring the feet to the floor. We'll walk them a little bit wider apart so you can just allow your inner knees to rest against each other, making a little inverted V shape. And I always feel then I've got to do a little bit of kind of wiggling and jiggling, sliding the shoulder blades further down my back, maybe lifting my hips up so I can elongate through my spine, lengthening out through those lower reaches of my spine. Have a little movement, have a little play around there. I'm going to come up to seated just in case anyone comes in a bit later. And then if you're comfortable, allowing the eyes to softly close on this Friday morning. Getting ready to tune out of whatever busyness the last week or your morning might have brought. And getting ready to enjoy an hour that's yours and yours alone. So politely putting to one side anything that you're bringing to the mat this morning, the to-do list, the concerns about what next week might hold, mulling over or chewing over conversations or events of the week just gone, letting them go, letting this hour be exactly what you need this morning. And as you just begin to bring your awareness a little bit more inwards now to your breath, if it's comfortable, breathing in and out through your nose, if you're nice and clear this morning. If not, just parting the lips and allowing the breath to be received and released. Just taking a moment just to tune into how your breath feels this morning, where you're feeling the breath in your body. And those of you who are doing that little yoga with Adrienne challenge for January, it's all about the breath, and breath perhaps is sometimes a forgotten part of yoga. We focus so much on the movement that we forget that yoga is that marrying of movement with our breath. So really working with that this morning as you relax your jaw, allow your tongue just to rest on the roof of your mouth. Relaxing the space between your eyebrows. And we'll start that journey of beginning to deepen the breath, if that's available and comfortable this morning. Beginning to explore that yogic breath or belly breathing. So drawing the breath right down into those lowermost reaches of your lungs, right down into the lower belly. Deepest kind of breathing, replenishing the body and the mind. and preparing for your practice ahead. We'll start this morning with a really simple little breath sequence to really bring us into our bodies, out of our heads and into our bodies as we connect with our breath. So keeping the legs exactly as they are. We'll just bring the hands onto your lower belly, so your middle fingers are pointing towards one another. And just allow your elbows to rest on the floor there. So if you need to just bring your fingertips towards the sides of the body, feel free to do that. Some of you might have your middle fingers almost touching. We'll all be very different there. And as you gently draw the breath into the space beneath your hands, feeling the belly like a balloon rising and falling. Let's take nice 3 deep breaths there. So breathing in, feeling the belly rise, maybe your fingertips sliding apart, and then as you exhale, the navel dropping back towards the spine. Each inhale an opportunity to find some space, and each exhale an opportunity to release what you don't need this morning. And then just sliding the hands up to just cup the outer ribs now. So again, some of you might have your middle fingers almost touching. For some of us, we might need to widen the hands. Elbows rest gently on the floor, no tension in the face or the shoulders. And as you repeat those 3 nice deep breaths there, just feeling perhaps a little sideways and outwards expansion through the body. Almost like a concertina type movement. Waking up the spaces between the ribs, and then finally, fingertips just resting on collarbones, so the hands slightly resting on your chest, elbows just resting easily on the floor. Just feeling the breath in the chest. And what we want to encourage throughout our practice is kind of filling all 3 spaces, using all of those diaphragm muscles of the diaphragm there. So upwards and outwards into the chest, the belly, and into the ribs. And bearing that in mind, we'll just gently release the arms down alongside you when you've taken those 3 breaths. Let's take a nice deep breath there, filling those 3 spaces. And a gentle release of the breath, softening the back of the body in towards the floor. Turning palms up towards the ceiling, bring a little movement into your fingertips. Maybe a little circling through the wrists there. Keep the fingers moving, especially if you have been slumped over a computer this week. Just let the wrist go. Turning the wrist the opposite way. There might be some clicks and some crunches. Lovely. And then we'll bring the palms down to the floor. And we'll walk the feet now so they're hip width apart, heels snuggled in towards the sit bones. Lovely. Let's take a nice deep breath in and float both arms all the way back above the head, finding the floor behind you, just pausing there, knowing that you can, if there's any shoulder issues or maybe the chest feels a little tight, take your arms out into a nice spacious V shape instead of alongside the ears. Lovely. Take one more nice inhale there. And as you exhale, let's bring the arms all the way back down alongside you, spreading the fingers, adding the breath twice more. Big inhale, sweep the arms all the way up and back, softening the rib cage. So trying not to overarch through the back, and exhaling, lowering down, feeling a little movement through the shoulders this morning. And one more nice big breath in, floating the arms back, spreading the fingers nice and wide. And exhale. Lowering the arms, using that full extent of breath. Next inhale, bring the arms all the way up and back, and we'll pause there, either alongside the ears or again in that nice wide V. And this time we'll stretch out both legs, so we're in a lovely full body extension there. And just start to circle the feet there. Maybe just turn the ankles. You might do that with the wrists as well, just add a little bit of movement there. That's taking the feet round the opposite way. Lovely, and then press the heels away from you, pulling the toes gently towards your face, and as you reach back through the arms, again, just try and soften any arching through the back of the body there. Breathing into the space behind you, the space in front of you. Lovely, take one more deep inhale there. And as you exhale, lower the arms down alongside you and let's walk the heels back in towards your sitting bones. So nestling the heels quite close in towards your bottom there. And then we'll just lift your toes from the floor. So again, we're going to just work on this grounding now. So finding our feet, so lifting your toes. And like you're playing scales on the piano, see if you can bring the little toes down to the mat. And then ripple all the other toes down until you come to your big toes. So it's like a little kind of rippling action there. We'll do that again. You can't see what's going on. You can feel it there, can't you? So lifting up through the toes, spreading the toes a little bit, and see if you can bring your little toe down. And then all the other toes rippling down, ending with your big toe. It's really hard to do. If you do it standing, you can see where you kind of get stuck there. So we'll spread now into the base of the feet, pressing into all four corners of the feet. Don't miss out one corner there. Take a nice inhale, and as you exhale, press into the feet and slowly begin to lift the hips, rippling up into a gentle shoulder bridge this morning. Take a nice inhale when you reach that height for you this morning, might be quite low. And exhale, wheel the spine down, seeing if you can imagine lengthening through the back of the body as you come all the way back down. Take an inhale. Exhale, lifting the hips, pressing into the base of the big toes so the knees are tracking forwards and parallel. Base is soft. And exhale, slowly, slowly. Keeping a little tuck of the pelvis under as you ripple the spine down. We're going to do that just one more time. So nice inhale at the bottom. Exhale, start with that little pelvic tilt. Wheel the spine up. Keep pressing, pressing, pressing into the feet. Find your foundations this morning. Lovely. And exhaling, releasing the spine all the way back down. So this time we're going to come up and hold. So take a nice inhale. Exhale, we're going to lift the hips, spreading through the feet. And just coming up as high as feels comfortable, checking that the front of the pelvis is straight there. So have a quick peek down the front of the body. Just making sure that your fingertips aren't perforating your mat. So light pressure beneath your palms there. And instead focus on really grounding through your feet. So you feel an energy through your feet coming up your legs. And we're strengthening the back seam of the body there. So the glutes are engaged, the hamstrings are working, those postural muscles along the back of the body beginning to fire up. See if you can lift a little higher. Obviously, if you need to come down at any time, come down. You might need to slide your head up your mat a little bit if you're lifting your chest towards your chin. Lovely. Let's take one more inhale there. And as you exhale, really use the length of that exhale to lengthen your hips down towards your heels, lowering the spine down, coming down with full control. Lovely, beautiful. Let's scoop the knees in towards the chest, one hand on each knee, and have a little rock or circle of the knees. Just ease off any tension there through the back of the body. Beautiful. And then bringing the knees to the chest, just see if you can hug them in a little deeper so we're getting a nice stretch out through the lower back. You might want to lift your head and your shoulders, sliding the shoulders away from the ears. And some of you, again, with a little bit more mobility through your lower back, you might find that you can just clasp the elbows. So you're tightening that little squeeze and lower the head, lower the shoulders. So we'll all bring the head and the shoulders down. So if you're holding onto your elbows or higher up your forearms, your knees are being squeezed in a little bit more closely. That's not going to be for everybody. And we're getting a deepening stretch out through the lower back. Lovely. Let's bring both hands onto that left knee. And we'll extend that right leg out nice and long now until the heel just hovers off the floor. We'll flex the foot and really kick out through that heel, firming up through the belly, so beginning to wake up through our core. Lovely. Take a couple of breaths there. If it's a little bit too much for the heel hovering, feel free to rest your heel on the floor. Beautiful. Take one more inhale. And as you exhale, bring that knee in towards your chest, changing hands. So hands on the right knee, extending left leg out, heel just hovers. So feel a real firing up through that left side. Soften the shoulders as you squeeze that right knee in. And again, if you want to lower that left heel to rest on the floor, feel free this morning. Lovely. Firm up through the belly, so not overarching through the back. Lovely. Inhaling, bringing both knees into the chest. Let's work with the breath now. Exhaling, extending right leg, both hands on left knee. Inhale to center. Exhale, changing sides. So we're extending alternate legs, bringing the knees back together as you inhale and extending as you exhale. So really feel that you're pressing that heel away from you. Firing up through the legs. If you want to lift your head and your shoulders as we just continue for a few more rounds. So we're fanning up through the belly, finding our center, feeling that there's no movement from side to side there. You're keeping nice and grounded across the back of the pelvis. Lovely. Let's do one more with the right leg. Ooh, I hope no one had a big breakfast. So if you're lifting head and shoulders, just keep checking in that you're not clenching your jaw. Lovely. When that left knee comes in, the next time we'll hold both knees in towards the chest and lower the head and lower the shoulders. Lovely. Keeping the knees where they are. Let's bring the arms into a cactus. So bending at the elbows, we're flipping the forearms back behind you so the back of the hands land on the floor. Now, if that's a little bit too much for you, then reach both arms out directly level with the shoulders. So there's a bend in the elbows, back of the hands might be reaching the floor, knees to chest, take an inhale. And as you exhale, let's bring both knees over to the right side. And that left shoulder blade just trying to bring down towards the floor as far as is comfortable this morning. And then we'll just hinge at that right elbow. So you bring your right fingertips down to the top of that left knee or thigh and see if you can gently encourage the knees toward the floor. If that's a little bit too much for the lower back, then obviously keep the arms in a cactus and maybe slide your feet a little further away from you so you're deepening that angle at the hip. You might want to look over that left shoulder, chin just rolling down towards the shoulder there, getting a nice rotation through the back this morning. Lovely. And then we'll cactus both arms again. So back of the hands finding the floor, bending the elbows. Take an inhale as you bring the knees to the chest. Exhaling, tip-top the knees over to the left. So finding the floor, so you might want to slide your feet further away from you and hinging at the elbow, bringing the left fingertips to the top of the right knee. Maybe turning the head to look over that right shoulder. So dropping the weight across your upper back there, feeling grounded through the upper back. Easy with the breath. Lovely. It's finding that nice working rotation for your back, your shoulders today. Lovely. And then we'll bring both arms back into that cactus and bring both knees on an inhale back to the chest. Hands on the knees, widening the knees now as you hook one ankle over the other. Just take a little circle around the lower back there, taking the knees round one way. And then as you change the hook of your ankle, just taking the knees round the opposite way. We're going to come up and over to a seated position. So you can just roll to one side this morning or catch hold underneath your knees and roll your way up. Lovely, jubbly. And we're going to cross your right shin in front of your left shin. Now, some of you might want to pop a blanket or a cushion just underneath your bottom so you can drop your pelvis a little bit further forwards there. Lovely. So right shin in front of left shin, all legs extended if it's uncomfortable to sit cross-legged today. Lovely. Let's bring the hands down onto the knees there or to the middle of the thighs, wherever is comfortable. And we'll start to take the body round in a circle there. So really grounding down through the base of the pelvis there as you take some slow circles, leading with the chin or the chest, slowing things down so you're tracing a little path there. Again, just firming up a little bit through the belly as you lean back. Oh, lovely. And then just slowly change direction. Move really slowly, otherwise you knock yourself a little seasick. So nice and slowly. So again, we're really grounding down into those four corners of the pelvis we can feel on the mat beneath us. Lovely. And then we'll come all the way slowly back through center, gently pressing the hands down on your knees or your thighs so you can really root down through your hips, but lengthen up through the crown of the head. Lovely. Heart above hips. Beautiful. We'll reach both arms up, lengthen both sides of the waist as you inhale. And as you exhale, we'll bring the right hand down, left arm overhead there. And we'll pause there this morning. So if it's uncomfortable on the shoulders, just wrap that top arm behind you and maybe take the gaze down towards the floor. Soften it off there. If you're with me, we're arrowing that top arm alongside your ear. Try that little barrel roll of your chest up towards the ceiling. Maybe there's a turn of the head up. And just notice your foundations there. So have you lifted that left sitting bone? And can you feel the heaviness dropping down into the earth beneath you? Lovely. Inhale through center, reaching both arms up, really balance things out through the sides of the waist. And as we exhale, let's come down to the other side. So left hand alongside the hip. Remember that option of wrapping the hand around the low back, keeping the gaze towards the floor. Or we're really stretching out nice and long, arrowing that top arm overhead. So this time it's that grounding sensation through your right sitting bones. Lovely, softening that underneath elbow, little barrel roll of the chest up towards the ceiling there. Lovely. Let's come into a little twist. So inhaling, reaching both arms up. At this time as you exhale, we'll twist to the right. So we'll bring the left hand across the body to your right knee or thigh. Settle the other hand behind you. And we'll pause for this first one. So we're just turning the head perhaps to look over that back shoulder or keep the gaze more neutral this morning. Again, feel grounded through your center. Rotation through the middle back and the upper back. Lovely, bringing head to center. Inhale, reach both arms up. Let's come over to the other side. So this time, right hand comes across the body to opposite thigh or knee. Other hand just behind you, propping yourself forwards and up with that back hand so you're not leaning back. Maybe turning the gaze over that back shoulder. Chin parallel to the floor. Breath nice and easy. Lovely. Listen up. Let's inhale all the way back through center. Exhaling, coming back over to that little twist to the right. Just pausing there momentarily. So the left hand is on your thigh or your knee. Lovely. Keep the body exactly where it is. Bring the gaze back through center. And now sweep that right arm all the way up. Now pick up the knees a little bit so you can cross your right arm on top of your left arm and both hands are clasping opposite knees there. So you've lifted the knees, one hand on each knee. As you inhale, just lift up through the chest. And as you exhale, bring them around the back, so chin to chest. So you're dropping the knees into your hands, gently pressing them away from you. And you feel that deepening stretch between the shoulder blades. So you're in charge there. If you want to lessen that stretch off, just bring the knees a little closer towards you. Lovely. Gently letting go of the knees, let them drop to the floor, and keeping the arms crossed, we'll bring the arms all the way up in front of you like you're taking off a big jumper. Arms come all the way back out to the side, fingertips landing just behind you, fingertips pointing forwards or slightly out. Lift and loop the shoulders down the back, press the floor away, lift up through the chest. Lovely, lovely chest opener this morning, squeezing the shoulder blades together. And then we'll soften that off. Lean into your hands so you can just extend the legs, give them a little bit of a shake, and then recross them, this time with left shin in front of right, or keep them extended if that's more comfortable. Re-establish that foundation, grounding through your sit bones. Inhale, taking the arms up. Exhaling over to that side stretch to the left. So hand coming down, rooting down through that right side, arrowing that top arm overhead, rolling that top armpit open. Pressing the floor away. Inhale, come all the way back up through center, reach up nice and tall. Exhaling over to the other side. So remember that top arm might be wrapped around your low back if your shoulder is uncomfortable this morning. Lovely. Ready for that little twist. Inhale through center. Exhale, we'll twist to the left. So right hand coming across the body. Left hand settling down behind you. So again, feel that you're really pushing yourself slightly forwards. There's a temptation to lean into that back hand. So you're sitting up nice and tall, maybe turning the head. Lovely. Head comes back through center first. Inhale, sweep the arms up. Ready to twist the opposite way, so left hand coming across this time. And just with that change of the cross of the legs, you might notice that one side perhaps feels different this morning. Lovely. So ready for that little catching of the knees. So inhale, we'll come back through center. Exhale, we'll twist over to the left. So right hand coming across the body to your knee or your thigh. So let's just pause in that twist again. So again, feeling that the movement is through the upper back, middle back there. Maybe the neck if you're looking over that back shoulder. Lovely. And then we'll just look forward, just so you can see what's going on if you're confused. We start to lift the knees towards you and reaching that left arm all the way up. We bring it across to the opposite knee. So left arm is on top this time. Holding on to the knees, you might need to lift them a little bit higher. Take an inhale as you lift the chest. Exhale, we drop the knees into the hand, hollow out through the belly, allow the chin to drop down towards the chest. Lovely. So remember, the more you're pushing your knees away from you, dropping them into your hands, adding that resistance, you'll deepen that stretch between the shoulder blades. Lovely. Let go of the knees. Let the knees drop towards the floor. Keep the arms crossed as you sweep them in front of the face. So again, taking off an enormous jumper all the way up and out to the side. Fingertips finding the floor behind you, pointing forwards or slightly out to the side. We'll press into your fingertips, lift and open the chest. So it's a squeezing of the shoulder blades together. Try and avoid dropping the head too far back. Your neck won't thank you for that. Lovely. And then slowly, slowly, allowing everything to settle back to center. Hands might come in front of you as you roll your way over to old fours, just rolling over your ankles, or if that's not for you, just finding your own way there. Hands underneath your shoulders and the knees underneath the hips. So let's just pick up one hand, have a little turn through the wrist there, maybe a couple of times. And then bring your hand flat to the floor, space between each finger. And then do that on the opposite side. So a little twirl through the wrist, again, really finding that sense of foundation. And as you bring that other hand directly underneath the shoulders, spread the hands nice and wide. So you're really pressing into all of your finger pads. Lovely. Firm up through the belly, coming into that lovely flat back, little softness at the elbow there. The shoulders are tight, take the hands a little wider apart there. Let's take an inhale as you allow the belly to drop, tailbone to lift, heart to pull forwards, arch the back. Exhale, really press into your foundations, your hands, your knees, maybe even to the tops of the feet and the shins as you round up into that angry cat. And then inhale, soften that slightly, allow everything to drop down towards the earth, belly dropping, tailbone lifting. And then exhaling, root to rise, press into hands, knees, maybe shins, maybe tops of feet. And then inhale to soften. Roll that movement through the spine. Let's do that a couple more times. Exhaling. Hugging navel up towards your spine, that delicious rounding and spreading through the shoulder blades. Lovely if you've been slumped over a computer. Inhale. And exhale. Beautiful. So we'll find that lovely tabletop position. If you've got your hands wider than shoulder width, just bring them back in so they're directly underneath your shoulders now. And then tuck your toes under. So you're really waking up into the balls of the feet there. Press into your hands. Keep the gaze forwards now as you just lift your knees an inch or so from the floor without the bottom lifting. I should have worn black leggings so you can't see there is space between my knees and the floor. Keep pressing into the hands. There might be a little bit of shaking there. Feel your foundations. Feel the feet waking up. Press into the hands. See if we can hold for 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Lower the knees. Flatten the feet. Walk the knees back a little ways, walk the hands forwards, and then shift the weight forwards, roll down through the body, coming down onto the tops of your thighs as you bring your elbows forwards underneath your shoulders. So we'll land in Sphinx pose this morning. If that's a little bit too much for the back, take the arms a little bit wider than mat width apart and allow your chest to drop a little bit. Otherwise, elbows underneath your shoulders. And again, let's find our foundation. So find an ease and balance across the front of the pelvis. Press down through the palms, down through your forearms. Imagine pulling your elbows slightly back towards the body as you feel that lovely lengthening up through the front seam of the body there. Lovely, all the way up from your belly button to the top of your throat. Keep pressing down into your palms and your forearms as you allow your chin to drop down towards your chest. And just roll one ear towards one shoulder. Get a little neck stretch there. And then chin rolls all the way back through center. And then opposite ear to opposite shoulder. Lovely. We'll come all the way back through center. Widen the elbows. Lower yourself down. Stacking one hand on top of the other. Making a little support for your forehead there. I'm going to lift my head just so you can hear me talk. But you've got your head resting on your hands there. We'll just bring the legs so they're a little bit closer together. So making sure that they're not out towards the outside edges of your mat. They're about hip width apart. And just softly point the toes so you feel a little bit of waking up through the legs there. We're going to do alternate leg lifts as we build up towards locust pose. So find an ease through the front of the hips. And as you inhale, try lifting that right leg a few inches from the floor. Think about lengthening the leg rather than height. Trying to keep the leg nice and straight. And as you exhale, slowly lower down. Other leg. So as you inhale, left leg lifts right from the top of the hip. So lengthen the leg away from you. And exhale, release. So just work with the breath now. Every inhale, you lift one leg. And as you move from leg to leg, can you minimize any rocking across the front of your pelvis? So you're working all of those muscles that run along the back of the leg, the hamstrings, the glutes. We always think about stretching our hamstrings, which is important, but we also need, like I said on Wednesday, we need that sense of balance between strength and ease. So this one is definitely strengthening. Let's do one more with the right leg lifting. Stretching the toes away from you, lifting from the top of the hip, and then the left leg lifting. Lovely. So any back issues, you might want to carry on with that. If you're with me, just gently bring your heels together, your toes turned out very gently like a little mermaid's tail. Let's try lifting both legs. So as you inhale, both legs lift, lifting from the top of the hip. And then as you exhale, you lower that little mermaid tail. We'll do that twice more. If it's too much, then go back to those alternate legs. Lovely. Beautiful. So just once more, lifting, 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 firing up through the buttocks and slowly releasing. Bending the knees, point your toes up towards the ceiling and just have a little windscreen wiper of the legs from side to side there. Lovely. So last little bit. We'll lower the legs down behind you, heels touching toes very gently turned out. But this time we'll bring the arms down alongside you, palms down. So really pressing down into your palms, fingertips pointing towards your toes. You can keep your head resting on the floor or gently lift your head. Keep the gaze down so you've lifted your head, lifted your chest. Take an inhale. And as you exhale, let's see if we can lift the legs. Legs as one unit, that little mermaid's tail. If it's too much, just lower your forehead towards the floor. Final option, lift the arms and turn the palms inwards, reaching fingertips towards toes. So now a little locust, heels gently together, keeping the gaze low. Sing again if we can hold for 5, 4, keep the breath coming, 3, 2, and 1. Lower down, lovely. Rest your head on your hands again, point the toes up towards the ceiling and have a little windshield wiper action from side to side there. Beautiful. And then extend out through the legs, hands underneath the shoulders as you push yourself back onto all fours. And either take that nice angry cat, bringing your knees under your hips and rounding through the back, or join me in a child pose, whatever works for you this morning. Lovely, just letting those back muscles release there after that little back work. Beautiful. And then slowly, slowly, just coming back so you're sitting on your heels momentarily. So we're going to do a little sequence here. We'll do the first one nice and slow, and then we'll add the breath. There's just one transition that might be a little bit complicated to explain, so we'll see how we go. So from sitting in hero pose, bottom on our heels, we're going to lift up to standing kneeling, so hips above knees. Hands come to hips, and we'll step the right foot forwards. So right foot forwards, I'll face you for this one, lovely. We'll sweep both arms up, so we're in a lovely low lunge, lengthening up. And we'll take a little twist to the right, so the left arm reaches in front, the right arm reaches behind you, turning the chest. Lovely. When you're ready to inhale, come all the way back through center. And exhaling, we're coming over to the other side. Ooh, a little bit of balance there. Let's reach all the way up. Bring the hands to the hips as we take that right leg all the way out to the side, or a semicircle. So you're lining up your big toe with your knee, ready for gate pose. Arms out level with the shoulders, press the hips forwards, take an inhale. Exhale, right arm down, left arm up, or up and over. Lovely. Inhale through center, lift that top hip. And as you exhale, left fingertips sliding down towards the floor. They're not reaching the floor, they're hovering, waking up the obliques. Inhale through center, hips to center. over to the right one more time. Lovely. Inhale through center. And this time as you exhale, we'll pop that top hip up and bring that left hand down to the floor. You might be on your fingertips, you might be on your palm, and we'll reach that right arm alongside the ear. So this is the little tricky one, so hopefully you can see me. You're going to bend that top knee and bring the knees together. So that top knee, that right knee is just kind of hovering off the floor. And then we'll bring both knees down as you sweep that right arm in front of you, and we'll end up in a child pose, both arms reaching in front of you. That's that kind of little tricky swoop, but I'm sure we'll get it. Shall we try that on the other side with the breath? Let's give it a go. So walking the hands back towards you, we'll all start in that hero pose, sitting on the heels. Inhale as you reach the arms up, lift up the hips, lovely. And as you exhale, bring the hands to the hips, and we'll step the left leg forward this time. So take a moment there, slide it forwards if you need to. Inhale to reach both arms up, press into that front foot. As you exhale, we'll take a twist to the left, right arm in front, left arm reaching behind. You can turn to look over that back arm. Inhale through center. Exhaling over to the other side, so left arm reaching in front this time. Inhale through center. And as you exhale, we'll bring the hands to the hips again, and we'll slide that left leg out to the side, that little semicircle, so lining up big toe with knee. Reaching the arms out, push the hips forwards, inhale. Exhaling over to the left, right arm alongside the ear, lovely. Inhale through center, pop that top hip up. Exhale, fingertips lengthening, lengthening, lengthening down towards the floor. Hips to center, inhale. Once more over to the left, exhale. Are you ready? Inhale through center. And this time as you exhale, we'll bring that right hand all the way down to the floor. You might need to shift your weight forwards. So the shoulder is above the wrist, top arm reaches overhead, lifting ear towards upper arm, lovely. Now bend that top knee. So the knees are together, left knee is hovering, take an inhale. And as you exhale, we sweep that left arm all the way in front of us, coming back to our child pose. We're going to do one more each side, sitting up on the heels with the breath. Inhale, sweep the arms up. Exhale, hands to hips, right foot stepping forwards, ready for that lunge. Inhale, reaching up. So nice wide twist to the right, left arm in front, right arm behind as you inhale. Exhale, inhale through center. Exhaling, so you might be looking over that back arm as you take that twist to the left. Inhale through center. Exhaling, hands to hips, we'll slide that right leg out in that lovely gate pose. Reaching the arms out, take a nice inhale. Keep the hips pressed forwards as you exhale over that extended leg. Inhale through center. Lifting that top hip up a little ways as you reach down with the fingertips. So hand hovering, hips come to center, inhale. Keep the bottom gently pressed forwards as we come last time over to the right. Inhale through center. Exhaling, left hand coming all the way down towards the floor. So again, you might need to shift the weight forwards, extending that top arm. Bringing the knees together so you're bending that top knee. Right knee just hovers, take an inhale. Exhale, big swoop all the way forwards, coming back down into that child pose. Last time, sliding the arms forwards up towards you, sitting up in that hero. Inhale, lifting the hips, sweeping the arms up. Exhale, hands to hips. Last time we step the left leg forward. So it's a little version of sun salutes on the floor, hey. Inhale, reach up. I said it was grounding. Exhale, let's twist to the left. So the last time, right arm comes in front. That lovely rotation. Inhale, reaching up nice and tall, balancing out through both sides of the waist before we turn towards the right. Inhale through center. Exhaling, hands to hips, and we take that little semicircle coming into gate pose. You can always spin your toes up towards the ceiling if that's more comfortable. Arms out, inhale. Exhale, take that little side stretch. Beautiful. Inhale through center. Little pop of that top hip up for balance as you reach over to the right. Last time, hips to center, inhale. Exhale, tick-tock, over to the left. Are you ready? Last time, inhale. Exhale, finding the floor with that right hand, and the left arm is alongside the ear. Beautiful. So we hover that left knee just off the floor, so knees are together. Keep that top arm reaching overhead as you inhale, and exhale. Let's all meet in that child pose, reaching the arms out Settling the hips to the heels, and if you want to widen your knees there, feel free to do so. Forehead, just reaching the floor as the arms lengthen out. Now you might just want to stay there this morning, or just come up onto the fingertips of your left hand and feed your right arm underneath the left arm. So you're having a little thread needle there. So you're trying to gently drop the weight into that right shoulder. So you're looking underneath that left armpit. Lovely, a little benign stretch beneath, between the shoulders, just beneath the shoulder blade there. And then we'll reach both arms forwards, coming up onto the fingertips of that right hand as you feed the left arm underneath. So you're having a little peep underneath your armpit. Just try and open that top armpit up a little bit. Lovely. And then slowly, slowly, we'll reach both arms in front of you. And then walk your hands back towards your knees one last time. Pop the bottom to one side and swish the legs out in front of you. Lovely. So giving the legs a little bit of a shake, have a little softness in the knees there. You might want to slide the flesh of your sitting bones just out to the side there so you feel really grounded on top of your sit bones. Take a nice inhale as you reach the arms up. And as you exhale, gently offer the body forwards and down. So hands finding the floor alongside your shins, your thighs. You're even wrapping your hands around the tops of your feet there. Easing the body forwards. Lovely. And then slowly, slowly walking your hands back up the legs. And if you've got your bands to hand, now's the time to grab it. If you've not got it, it really doesn't matter. You can always, if you've got a jumper or a cardigan to hand, you can always use that. So we're going to loop the band around the balls of the feet there. So we're going to come back into that forward fold, but use the band and see if we can eke out a little bit more length. Some of you might not need the band here. So a little softness in the knees, band in each hand, try and avoid wrapping the band around your wrists there. Take a nice inhale as you reach up, sitting up nice and tall. As you exhale, you can just walk your hands down the band and just take the arms out to the side and see if you can just ease the body forwards. Some of you might have your hands quite close in towards you. There's a little less room for manoeuvring hamstrings or the back. Some of you might get rid of the band completely and come back into that forward fold, wrapping your hands around your feet. And most of us will be somewhere in between. See if you can think about lifting up and over your thighs. So imagine you're kind of bringing your belly over a beach ball that you've got on your lap there. So you're keeping the back nice and long. We're not rounding the back there. And you're not riding the 420 at Wincanton. So just make sure that you're not pulling too much on the band. So try and soften that sensation there. Just relax your hands a little bit. Lovely. And then slowly let the band slide just through your hands as you come all the way up to seated. Just unhook the band, pop it to one side. We're going to use it again in a minute. Let's slide that right heel in towards you. So there's a bend in the knee. And just feed your left foot underneath it. So you've almost made a number 4 shape. So left shin fed underneath. Pick up the band. You're going to loop the band around the ball of your right foot. So let the band slide through your hands. You might need to lean back a little ways, holding the band in each hand. And just see if you can begin to straighten that leg as far as feels comfortable while keeping the chest lifted. Take an inhale. And as you exhale, slowly bring that heel back down to the floor. So inhale, we extend and straighten. Some of us might not be straightening legs, that's okay. Keep that integrity through the spine, so keep lifting up nice and tall as you do that once more. Inhale. And exhale. So this next time, we'll extend the leg and we'll pause. So some of us might have the leg straight, chest lifted. Some of us might need to lower that leg down a little bit. So find that space and stretch through the hamstring there, softening of the shoulders. Lovely. And then we'll bring both pieces of the band into your right hand and take the leg out to the right, reaching that left arm out, level with the shoulder. So you're coming to a little inner thigh stretch. Some of you, again, might have the knee bent, that's fine. Lovely. Sitting up nice and tall. So invariably we rock back. So can you sit forwards and up. Lovely. Bring the leg back to center, changing hands. So band in the left hand, right arm out level with the shoulder. We'll bring that leg across the body. Oh, getting that lovely stretch down the outer thigh. Some of you might be able to come into a little twist, taking the hand behind you. I've got no room behind me. So you're just turning the chest there. And if you want to, just keep the arm level with the shoulder. Lovely. Let's come all the way back through center. Bend the knee, bring the foot to the floor, and unhook the band. Extend the legs, give them a little bit of a shake. Woo! One side invariably is going to feel different. So we'll slide that left heel in towards you. So there's a bend in the knee, and you feed your right shin underneath it. So you're making like a number 4 shape. If that's uncomfortable, you can always keep that foot to the floor. So band, this time hooking around the base of your left foot. So again, we want that lovely integrity through the spine. So as you just slide the band through your hands, think about lifting forwards and up on your sit bone. It's going to be a little bit of rocking back to lift that heavy lever, but try and minimize that. So bending the knee, heel on the floor. Let's try and slowly lift the legs, straightening off as it goes. It might not be completely straight. Take an inhale. And as you exhale, we'll bend the knee and drop the heel. So keep sitting up nice and tall. Lovely. Inhale. And exhale. So for some of us, again, there might always be a bend in the knee. Hamstrings might be a little tight last time. Beautiful. So this time we'll take the leg forwards and up. Some of you might need to drop the leg. If that means that you can sit upright, better to have the leg lower than rounding the back in that desperate attempt to take it forwards. Some lucky people might be able to do both. Let's bring the band into your left hand, right arm out level with the shoulder, and we'll just take the leg out to the side. And again, just avoid that slumping back. So imagine that I'm behind you with my knee in your middle back, propping you gently forwards. What a lovely vision that would be. Let's bring the leg back to center, changing hands, so band in the right hand. So as you bring that leg across the body, again, you might need to bend it. Try to keep the weight grounded as you take that left arm out. Some of you might come into a twist, so opening that arm out level with the shoulder. So you should feel that. I'm feeling that through my outer thigh there, the big TFL muscle. Whoa. Been doing Joe Wick's boot camp. It's killing me. Come all the way back through center. Let's bend the knee, bring the heel down to the floor, pop the band to one side. Give the legs a little bit of a shake. Lovely. Keeping your band to hand. We'll come down onto our back, so making sure you're in the middle of the mat. Walking the heels in, easing your way down onto your backs, bringing the knees with you, and have a little massage there. Oh, that's lovely. And then we'll bring the left foot down to the floor, right knee in towards the chest there. So you can use the right hand, you can use both hands, just to circle the hip there. So bring a little bit of movement into your hip as you gently take the leg round one way. And then round the opposite way. Lovely. And the knee coming to chest. We'll pick up the band, just bring the band around all of that right foot, sliding the hands down the band so head and shoulders are on the floor. Hands just resting easily, just down maybe alongside the knee. We'll extend that right leg all the way up towards the ceiling. So the same stretch as before, but this time with the floor beneath you, you can really drop the weight into the back of the body. So make sure you've not lifted that right hip up as you push that heel away from you. Gently drawing the toes towards you with gentle pressure on the band there. Feel a real grounding through your lower back. Lovely. And again, bringing both pieces of band into your right hand. Back to those little hip circles. So this time we're drawing a little circle on the ceiling with your foot. Might be a small circle. You might start to gradually make that movement a little bit bigger. Whatever feels nice this morning. And then coming back the opposite way. So again, you might make the movement quite small. Really try and minimize any movement through that left foot, that left knee. So you're really getting into that right hip. Lovely. And then make that circle a little smaller if you Taking it a little bit larger there until you bring the leg to stillness, bringing the band into your left hand, right arm just dropping down alongside you. We'll bring that leg across the body, kicking the heel away from you. So you maybe feel a deeper stretch now, again, as we've got the floor beneath us. So that right buttock's going to lift a little bit, come all the way back through center, band into your right hand, and taking that leg out to the right now. Again, kicking the heel away from you and maybe rolling onto the outside edge of that left foot so the knee opens out. Lovely. Inhaling back through center. And you can keep the foot on the floor and that left knee pointing up towards the ceiling, or extend the leg, heel on the floor, band in the left hand, and we'll bring that right leg all the way across the body. So you might be coming into a deeper twist this time. If not, keep the other knee bent and the foot on the floor. Just coming into that gentle stretch we did just before. Inhale, come back through center. Again, you can always rebend that left knee as you bring that right leg out to the right. Inner thigh stretch. And if you've got that left leg extended, see if you can point the toes up towards the ceiling and ground down through your lower back so you've not rolled onto the right buttock there. Lovely. Let's bring that right leg all the way up towards the ceiling. Band in each hand, take an inhale. And as you exhale, you might lift head and shoulders, bringing your nose towards your knee. And if you've got the leg extended, you might hover that left leg off the floor, just as we did right at the beginning of the practice. Lovely. Bring the heel down, lower the head, lower the shoulders, bring that right knee to the chest. Pop the band to one side, give both knees a squeeze, maybe a little rock side to side. And then we'll finish off on the other side. So right foot to the floor. Let's start just by doing those little hip circles, getting ready for that bigger range of movement, just taking that left knee round in a little circle. A few each way. And then we'll find your band, lifting your head, lifting your shoulders. So keep the knee in towards the chest as you bring the band around the ball of the foot, and then keep the knee in towards the chest as you slide your hands down the band, lowering the head, lowering the shoulders. You might rest your elbows on the floor, depending on the length of your band as you take that leg up towards the ceiling. So try and avoid wrapping the band around your hands, because we tend then to bring tension down from our hands into our arms, our shoulders, our face. So it's like this chain reaction there. So if you can, again, feel a sense of ease in the hands there, so you're not gripping too much as you kick that heel up towards the ceiling. Lovely. Feeling that nice heaviness through that left hip. We'll bring the band into your right hand. Left arm just drops down just by your side as you bring that leg across the body. So your left buttock's going to lift a little bit. Oh, why is this side so much tighter? There might be a little bit of shaky, in which case soften your knee a little bit back off. Oh, that side is tight today. Let's come back through center, band in the left hand. Little inner thigh stretch as you take the leg out to the left. Try and keep the heel pressing away from you, and maybe just come onto the outside edge of that right foot. So the knee's just hinged open a little bit. Coming all the way back through center. Option to repeat that, or slide the right leg out nice and long, heel on the floor. Bringing that left leg all the way across the body now. So if you're in that twist, you're going to roll onto the outside edge of that right leg. The toes aren't going to be pointing up towards the ceiling, unless you've got something strange going on in your legs. Lovely. Try and keep that top leg straight. Whoa, come all the way back through center. And this time, if that right leg is extended, this time you keep the toes pointed up towards the ceiling as you take that left leg out to the left. Now I like to bring my right hand onto the top of my right hip and kind of gently press down there. So I'm getting that sensation of that's where I need to drop the weight into my right buttock, so I'm not rolling to the left. Lovely, all the way back through center. Holding the band in each hand, you can stay there, just gently draw that leg towards you, or lift your head, lift your shoulders, so chin towards chest, maybe lifting that right leg off the floor, flexing both feet. Firming up through the belly. Ooh, lower that right leg, lower the head, lower the shoulders, bring that knee in towards the chest, pop the band to one side, give the knees a hug, a squeeze. Oh, and have a gentle massage across the tops of the buttocks and into the lower back there. Beautiful. And then we'll bring the feet down to the floor. Reach both arms back as you extend the legs back into that full body stretch. And we did this right at the beginning, so you might just notice that maybe you feel a little bit more spacious, maybe a little bit more energized. Hopefully. Lovely. Hopefully just rooted out those pockets of tension in the body this morning. And then as you walk your feet back towards you, lowering the arms gently down alongside you, we'll all widen the feet. Again, inner knees can knock together to support each other. Gently slide the shoulder blades down the back, broadening the chest, and either just resting the backs of the hands on the floor, the palms up towards the ceiling, or bringing a hand onto your chest, hand onto your lower belly if you feel that you need that sense of grounding today. And let's just finish our practice just as we began by dropping our awareness and our sensations back into our body, back into your breath. So even though we've not got up from the floor this morning, hopefully you feel that you've moved, you've stretched, you've opened up some space within the body. And just as importantly, maybe you've dropped out of your head and really feel that you've landed and grounded yourself in your body this morning. So try not to let the rest of the day, what you have to do at the end of this class, rob these last few minutes of peace. So dropping the awareness back into your breath. Seeing again if you can really tap into drawing the breath all the way deep down into those lowermost reaches of your lungs, that lovely belly breathing. So letting all of those muscles of your belly expand and open as you receive each in-breath. Without forcing or pulling, just gently allow them to soften back towards your spine as you release the breath on an exhale. Again, that belly breathing, that kind of intuitive breathing we see babies do, the deepest kind of breathing, the most efficient way of bringing oxygen, our life force into our body. Each exhale an opportunity to release, again, just what you don't need for the rest of the day, getting rid of it. And each inhale an opportunity to create more space, bring a little bit more energy into your bodies. Let's take just a couple more breaths like that. Simply enjoying being at one with our breath. And then when you're ready, your hands are resting on your chest or your belly, just very gently dropping them down alongside you. Palms up towards the ceiling. We'll start to bring that little movement into your fingers, maybe a little turn at the wrists, a few each way. You might just want to lift and spread your toes or come back to that full body stretch, maybe turning the ankles or flexing the feet or kind of reaching into one side and then the other, doing whatever kind of feels intuitive at the end of the practice, getting into any kind of tight spots that might be lingering there before you gently lower the arms, bring your knees back in towards your chest. You might want to linger in stillness, you might want to circle the knees or gently rock from side to side. Lovely. And just roll quietly onto your right side or your left side, wherever there's more space, avoiding furniture or four-legged friends, and then come and join me in a comfortable seated position. And for a moment, Just take a moment to find your foundation. So really, you might need to just walk your hips from side to side so you feel that lovely sense of dropping down into your hips. Hands, palms down on your knees or your thighs, so you can gently press the palms down. And as you press and ground down through the lower body, feel a lightness through the upper body. So you're lifting up and out of the hips, softening the shoulders, opening up through the chest, that lovely open posture that can help us feel more positive and energized. Lovely. And then fingertips just finding the floor alongside you, gently pressing down, lifting up through the crown of the head. Let's take a lovely inhale together, reaching the arms up above the head. And as you exhale, drawing the hands down to the heart, lifting your breastbone to meet your thumbs, dropping your chin down. And thanking each other for coming together this Friday morning and sharing a practice. Thank you, thank you. Thank you for choosing to start your Friday with some yoga. Lovely to see you all this morning. Hope you feel a little bit more grounded. There we go.